Amon-Ra St.Brown. 6 touchdowns in 10 plays. Now, when I first saw this and I first read up on the news, I was like, it's no way that that's possible. And then, as I read more into it, it was a red zone period, 7-on-7. So kind of understanding that. But seeing that the offense stole the show of everything I saw and read up on for today's day 3 of NFL training camp with the Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a guy who, and when I was talking about watching some more film, he's a guy who I watched film on. Now, when I look at him and how they use him, and I think that this year we can expect something big, and we've seen big things. I mean, 900 plus yards in the first year, over 1,000 in the second year. But I think this year, and it's crazy to say because with Ben Johnson and with the Sean McVays and some of the offenses I see with a Kellen Moore who's now with the Chargers, but how I see these slot receivers are dominating. And we see that's why the importance is going to a guy like Brian Branch. That's why C.J. Gardner-Johnson is so coveted, is an acquisition. Got to get him back healthy. Prayers up to him. But we see that because these slot receivers are becoming the new number one. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuels, Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Detroit Lions. I think of all the receivers in 6 touchdowns. You're telling me, Aaron Glenn. You lost the day based on what I'm seeing. And Jared Goff going over to him as well, because we're talking about this offense in the OTAs and some of the mini camps. Some people were worried, and some people came to me and asked, should we be worried that Goff is kind of struggling just a bit, throwing some picks here and there, some more incompletions that we would like? And I said, don't worry, don't panic, because when he was in the regular season, we saw a very good quarterback. And of course, you got to knock the rust off. That's the first football those guys have played in a very long time. So now in training camp, we're seeing he's starting to get that process and starting to click. And also with some of the other guys on offense, Sam Laporta. Every video I make, I find myself coming back to Sam Laporta. And I start to think now, I want to ask you guys the question. Drop this below in the comments. What is the expectation for Sam Laporta? Are we expecting 600, 700 yards? How many touchdowns are we expecting? Because what I've heard out of Dan Campbell, what I'm hearing out of Goff and all these guys, you even hear George Kittle around throwing praise to Sam Laporta. So now I hear that and I think about that and what he's been able to do. He's a consistent target for Jared Goff. And thinking about how rookies usually don't do this, but this is an abnormal rookie class. And even Dan Campbell, going back to some of the other guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, he's talking about the biggest thing I see with these guys, they don't make the same mistake twice. And I cannot tell you how much, as a guy who's been around the game of football for a long time, I cannot tell you how much that goes into the coaches trusting these guys. So we're going to see these rookies impacting early. Now, I think with Jack Campbell, seeing him take some of those second team reps and splitting reps with guys here and there, I think he's kind of getting eased into it. And like I said, linebacker is a position, it's kind of is demanding his quarterback. You're the quarterback of the defense, so he has to know all the play calls. He has to know all the shifts and things. But really, to touch on that, I want to talk about, bringing this back into the offense, how these guys have stole the show. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 6 touchdowns in 10 plays, and I keep saying it and coming back to that thought. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this is the season where Amon-Ra St. Brown solidifies himself not only in Detroit Lions fandom, because I think he's done that, but solidifies himself in NFL fandom? So now we're talking about him in that same conversation with the CeeDee Lambs, with the Cooper Kupps and all of those guys. And I think he's kind of knocking on that door already, but it's time to kick down the door. He's doing some of that early. Jared Goff is apparently back. What do you guys think about this news for day 3 of training camp? Let me know everything in the comments. I know you guys are excited, probably just as excited as me. You see the news, 6 touchdowns in 10 plays. Amon-Ra St. Brown.